Las Vegas, the Wynn Casino Resort, March 4th, 2021, 12:45 a.m. The high-stakes Baccarat tournament has just concluded, and the casino's VIP entrance buzzes with controlled activity. Security guards escort wealthy guests through polished marble corridors, while a line of pristine limousines waits beneath the porte-cochere's ambient lighting. Each departing guest carries sealed deposit bags stuffed with chips and cash, the spoils of another profitable night in America's gambling capital. The scene appears routine to security cameras and casual observers. Wealthy customers depart in luxury vehicles after successful gaming sessions, trusting their valuable assets to professional drivers who have transported millions without incident for years. The system operates on absolute trust. These aren't ordinary taxi rides, but carefully orchestrated transfers of portable fortunes. One particular limousine pulls away smoothly from the VIP entrance, its occupants relaxed and confident that their winnings are secure in the hands of a driver they've used countless times before. Hours later, when the guests arrive at their intended destination, they discover their deposit bags never reached the vault. Total missing, $16.9 million. The man behind the wheel wasn't a mobster with connections to organized crime or a desperate gambler drowning in debt. He was Victor Ramirez, the trusted limousine driver who had spent 5 years earning the complete confidence of Las Vegas's wealthiest visitors. Before we dive into how a professional driver turned VIP transportation into the perfect heist, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more incredible true crime stories. And if this video is eligible, don't forget to hype it. Your support helps these stories reach more viewers. Now let's meet the man who drove straight into criminal history. Victor Ramirez embodied the perfect service professional. Polished, discreet, and utterly forgettable in the way that wealthy customers preferred their hired help to be. At 46, he had spent 5 years perfecting the art of luxury transportation while remaining invisible to the very people who entrusted him with their most valuable possessions. Victor's path to becoming a VIP limousine driver began with decades of working-class employment that had taught him the value of reliability, punctuality, and most importantly, knowing when to remain silent. His background included taxi driving, private security, and various service jobs that had prepared him for the unique demands of transporting Las Vegas's ultra-wealthy clientele. The Wynn's limousine service hired Victor based on his spotless driving record, clean criminal background, and recommendations from previous employers who praised his professionalism and discretion. His position required more than simply driving expensive vehicles. He was expected to provide seamless luxury service while maintaining the confidentiality that VIP customers demanded. Victor's official duties included transporting high-roller guests between airports, hotels, restaurants, and entertainment venues while ensuring their comfort, safety, and privacy. But perhaps most crucially, he was entrusted with handling sealed deposit bags containing millions in cash and chips that customers needed to transport securely between gaming sessions and vault storage. His personal life was as unremarkable as his professional demeanor was polished. Victor lived alone in a modest 2-bedroom condo in Henderson, drove a reliable but unimpressive personal vehicle, and maintained a lifestyle that reflected careful financial management rather than extravagant spending. He had no spouse, no children, and few close relationships that might complicate his work schedule or personal discretion. Colleagues described Victor as always there, never memorable, the ultimate compliment for someone whose job required becoming part of the luxury infrastructure rather than a distinct personality. His ability to blend into the background while providing exceptional service made him invaluable to customers who valued efficiency and invisibility above personal connection. But Victor's position provided him with extraordinary access to information and opportunities that no external criminal could duplicate. He knew which customers carried large amounts of cash, understood their transportation routines, and most importantly, was trusted with direct handling of deposit bags containing millions in portable wealth. His 5 years of flawless service had created a reputation that made security questioning unnecessary. Casino staff, vault personnel, and customers themselves treated Victor as a reliable component of the luxury service infrastructure, rather than a potential security threat requiring verification or oversight. The trust would prove catastrophically misplaced. Victor had spent 5 years observing the vulnerabilities in VIP transportation systems while building the credibility necessary to exploit them. His transformation from model employee to master criminal was hidden behind years of perfect professional behavior that concealed his growing understanding of how to steal millions without detection. The Wynn's VIP transportation system operated on principles of luxury service and absolute discretion that created vulnerabilities no security consultant had anticipated. Wealthy customers expected seamless experiences that eliminated bureaucratic delays, security verifications, or procedural complications that might interfere with their gaming and entertainment activities. The Limousine service was designed to provide more than transportation. It offered mobile vault services that allowed customers to move millions in cash and chips securely between different locations without the inconvenience of formal armored car, procedures, or banking protocols that might delay their activities. Victor's role as a senior VIP driver gave him direct access to sealed deposit bags that customers used for transporting winnings between gaming sessions, storing valuable items during entertainment activities, and moving large amounts of portable wealth without attracting unwanted attention from other casino patrons or potential criminal observers. The system's security depended entirely on employee trustworthiness rather than technological safeguards or procedural verification. Customers handed Victor sealed bags containing millions, confident that his 5-year track record guaranteed safe delivery to intended destinations. No receipts were exchanged, no verification procedures were followed, and no independent confirmation was required. This trust-based approach eliminated the delays and complications that wealthy customers found irritating, but it also created opportunities that sophisticated criminals could exploit if they possessed the patience to build appropriate credibility. Over extended periods, Victor discovered that the transportation routes used for VIP services were predictable and poorly monitored by external surveillance systems. While casinos maintained comprehensive security within their facilities, the routes between locations often passed through areas where traffic cameras were limited and law enforcement presence was minimal. More importantly, Victor realized that his legitimate authority to deviate from standard routes, ostensibly for security reasons or traffic avoidance, provided perfect cover for criminal activities that required brief stops or route modifications that customers would never question. The breakthrough insight came when Victor understood that customers who trusted him with millions during transportation would also trust his explanations for minor delays or procedural changes that appeared to enhance their security or convenience. His reputation for reliability made suspicious behavior effectively impossible because customers assumed that any unusual actions were motivated by professional expertise rather than criminal intent. Victor began systematically studying the specific vulnerabilities that could support large-scale theft operations. Traffic patterns, surveillance camera locations, customer behavior during transportation, and the timing of various VIP service activities all became components of criminal intelligence gathering disguised as professional diligence. The most critical discovery involved understanding that vault delivery procedures relied heavily on driver representations about pickup activities. If Victor claimed that deposit bags had already been collected by other authorized personnel, vault staff would rarely question his statements or demand independent verification. By early 2021, Victor had identified comprehensive opportunities for sophisticated theft that would exploit every aspect of the trust-based VIP transportation system. His criminal education had been hidden within 5 years of exemplary service that established the credibility necessary for betraying the customers and employers who depended on his integrity. Victor's preparation for the limousine heist demonstrated criminal sophistication that extended far beyond opportunistic employee theft. His plan required months of advanced planning, sophisticated logistical coordination, and the establishment of criminal infrastructure that could support major theft operations while maintaining perfect operational security. The first phase involved comprehensive surveillance of VIP transportation routes to identify optimal locations for criminal activities that would be invisible to traffic cameras and law enforcement patrols. Victor used his legitimate driving duties to conduct systematic reconnaissance, documenting every aspect of routes that could affect criminals' success. His analysis revealed several locations where brief stops could be made without attracting attention from surveillance systems or other drivers. These areas were typically service streets, industrial zones, or commercial areas with limited foot traffic during late-night hours when VIP transportation most commonly occurred. Victor's technical preparation included acquiring a second vehicle that could serve as a transfer point for stolen assets during criminal operations. The vehicle needed to be reliable unremarkable, and completely separate from his legitimate identity to avoid creating investigative connections if his criminal activities were eventually discovered. Through careful research and cash transactions, Victor acquired a used sedan that met his operational requirements while maintaining complete anonymity about its ownership and intended use. The vehicle was registered under false identity documents that Victor had obtained through criminal networks serving individuals who needed untraceable assets. The most challenging component was establishing secure storage facilities where stolen assets could be concealed during the critical hours between theft and final disposal. Victor needed locations that were secure, accessible, and completely separate from his legitimate residence and employment that might attract investigative attention. Victor's solution involved renting a private garage in an industrial area under his false identity, creating a secure location where stolen deposit bags could be temporarily stored while he established alibis and completed the normal routines that would divert suspicion from his activities. The garage was strategically located to provide quick access from VIP transportation routes, while offering privacy for criminal activities that required several hours to complete safely. The location was paid for with cash, and utilities were arranged through prepaid services that couldn't be traced to Victor's legitimate identity. Financial preparation was equally important because Victor understood that his criminal activities would require permanent departure from his legitimate employment and residence. He began systematically converting assets to portable forms while maintaining the appearance of normal financial management that wouldn't trigger suspicion from employers or law enforcement. The conversion process was gradual and carefully planned to avoid creating obvious patterns that might suggest criminal preparation. Victor liquidated investments, closed unnecessary accounts, and accumulated cash reserves while maintaining his normal lifestyle and professional behavior. By February 2021, Victor had completed all preparation necessary for attempting large-scale theft of VIP deposit bags. His criminal infrastructure had been established through activities that appeared completely legitimate, making it invisible to security oversight or criminal investigation until after his planned operations were completed. March 4, 2021, represented the culmination of months of meticulous planning as Victor prepared to execute the most audacious theft of his criminal career. The high-stakes baccarat tournament at the Wynn had attracted wealthy international customers whose winnings would create optimal conditions for large-scale theft operations. Victor's intelligence gathering had identified 3 specific customers whose gambling activities and personal habits made them ideal targets for his criminal plan. Each customer had history of transporting large amounts of cash between gaming sessions, maintained casual attitudes toward security procedures, and trusted Victor's professional judgment without question. The first target was Dr. Elizabeth Chen, a pharmaceutical executive whose biotech investments had generated enormous wealth during the pandemic. Dr. Chen typically carried substantial cash reserves for private gambling sessions while maintaining a relaxed approach to security that made her unlikely to scrutinize transportation procedures carefully. The second target was Marcus Thompson, a real estate developer whose commercial projects had benefited from favorable economic conditions. Marcus was known for carrying millions in chips between different casinos while treating VIP transportation as a routine convenience rather than a high-security operation requiring careful oversight. The third and most valuable target was Alexander Petrov, a Russian businessman whose import-export operations had generated substantial wealth through international trade relationships. Alexander routinely transported enormous amounts of portable assets while maintaining the kind of lifestyle that made small procedural irregularities essentially invisible. At 11:30 p.m., Victor began his final shift as a legitimate VIP limousine driver, knowing that within hours he would either achieve permanent financial freedom or face criminal prosecution that would destroy his carefully constructed life. His professional behavior remained perfect, providing no indication of the extraordinary criminal activities he was preparing to execute. The Baccarat tournament concluded at 12:32 a.m. with substantial winnings distributed among participants who had requested VIP transportation for secure movement of their assets to various destinations throughout Las Vegas. Victor's 3 targets had combined winnings of approximately $16.9 million in cash and high-denomination chips. At 12:45 a.m., Victor loaded his 3 customers and their deposit bags into his limousine while maintaining the same professional demeanor that had characterized 5 years of exemplary service. His interactions with casino security and vault personnel were routine and unremarkable, providing no indication that this would be his final legitimate pickup. The departure from the Wynn proceeded normally, with Victor following established routes toward the first customer's destination, while his passengers engaged in the casual conversation typical of successful gambling sessions. Nothing in his behavior suggested that he was preparing to commit one of the largest thefts in Las Vegas history. At 1:07 a.m., Victor initiated the criminal phase of his operation by announcing that security protocols required a brief stop for vehicle inspection, a procedure that his customers accepted without question because they trusted his professional expertise and understood that VIP security sometimes involved unusual requirements. Victor pulled into a pre-selected side street where surveillance cameras provided no coverage, and pedestrian traffic was non-existent during late-night hours. The location appeared to his customers as a reasonable security checkpoint, rather than the site of sophisticated criminal activity. Working with practiced efficiency, Victor transferred the 3 deposit bags from his limousine to the waiting sedan that he had positioned earlier using his false identity. The entire transfer operation took less than 2 minutes, but represented the successful theft of $16.9 million from customers who trusted him completely. Victor then continued driving his customers to their intended destination while maintaining normal conversation and professional behavior. When they arrived, he calmly explained that Vault Security had already collected their deposit bags using alternative procedures, a story that his customers accepted because they trusted his knowledge of complex security protocols. By 1:47 a.m., Victor had successfully completed one of the most sophisticated thefts in casino history while maintaining perfect alibis and customer satisfaction. His criminal operation had exploited every vulnerability in the VIP transportation system while leaving no evidence of criminal activity beyond the eventual discovery that millions had simply vanished. Victor's disappearance was executed with the same meticulous planning that had characterized his theft operations, demonstrating criminal sophistication that extended far beyond the actual heist to include comprehensive escape procedures that would make recovery virtually impossible. His departure from Las Vegas began immediately after completing his final legitimate transportation duties, with Victor driving directly to his rented garage where the stolen deposit bags awaited transfer to more permanent concealment. The timing was critical because casino vault personnel would eventually notice the missing deposits and trigger investigation procedures. Victor's technical preparation had included establishing multiple transportation options that would carry him away from Las Vegas through routes designed to minimize surveillance detection and law enforcement interdiction. His primary escape vehicle was completely separate from both his legitimate identity and the sedan used during criminal operations. The stolen deposit bags contained $16.9 million in mixed cash and high-denomination casino chips that required different disposal methods depending on their specific characteristics and traceability. Victor's criminal planning had included detailed procedures for managing various forms of portable wealth during extended escape operations. Cash conversion was relatively straightforward, but required techniques for avoiding anti-money laundering monitoring that could detect large transactions or unusual financial patterns. Victor's preparation had included establishing banking relationships and currency exchange capabilities that could process substantial amounts while maintaining operational security. Casino chips presented more complex challenges because they were designed to be difficult to convert outside authorized gaming establishments. However, Victor's research had identified underground networks that specialized in chip conversion services, typically charging substantial fees but providing untraceable transactions. At 3:15 a.m., Victor loaded his escape vehicle with the stolen assets and began driving toward the California border, using routes that avoided major highways and surveillance cameras that might document his departure. His route planning had included multiple contingencies for different traffic conditions and law enforcement presence. Victor's residence had been systematically emptied days before the heist, with all personal belongings removed and no evidence of hasty departure or criminal preparation. His lease was paid through the end of the month, utilities remained active, and nothing suggested panic or emergency evacuation. The abandoned limousine was found in the casino's employee parking area with no evidence of criminal activity or unusual use. Victor's employment records showed completion of his normal shift duties, and his interactions with coworkers provided no indication of criminal intent or advance planning for departure. By sunrise on March 5th, Victor had successfully crossed into California using transportation that couldn't be connected to his legitimate identity or criminal activities. His escape had been planned to provide maximum delay before investigators could identify him as the primary suspect in the missing deposits. The getaway sedan used during the criminal operations was found torched outside Laughlin, Nevada, approximately 18 hours after the theft was discovered. The vehicle had been completely destroyed by fire, eliminating fingerprints, DNA evidence, and any materials that might provide investigative leads about Victor's subsequent activities. Intelligence analysis suggested that Victor had continued into Mexico within 48 hours of the theft, using false documentation that would allow long-term residence under an assumed identity. His criminal preparation appeared to include comprehensive planning for permanent life transformation rather than temporary criminal activity. The discovery that $16.9 million had vanished during what appeared to be routine VIP limousine service triggered immediate escalation to federal law enforcement and launched one of the most intensive theft investigations in Las Vegas casino history. FBI agents arrived at the Wynn within hours of the theft report and immediately began comprehensive analysis of transportation procedures, employee backgrounds, and the sophisticated deception that had enabled such massive theft to occur without triggering immediate security alerts. The investigation quickly focused on Victor Ramirez, when analysis of transportation logs revealed that he had been the driver for all three victimized customers during the critical time period. His sudden disappearance following the theft confirmed his criminal involvement, while eliminating any possibility of recovering stolen assets through his cooperation. Victor's background investigation revealed no obvious criminal associations or financial pressures that might explain his transformation from model employee to master criminal. His perfect employment record, clean financial history, and complete lack of suspicious behavior made his criminal activities even more shocking to investigators. The enhanced security measures imposed substantial operational costs while reducing the seamless luxury service that VIP customers expected during their casino experiences. Many high-roller clients complained about increased verification requirements that interfered with their preferred level of service discretion. More than 3 years after Victor's theft and disappearance, he remains on the FBI's most wanted list, with substantial rewards offered for information leading to his capture. Neither Victor nor the $16.9 million has ever been recovered despite comprehensive international investigation. The case became a landmark study in hospitality industry security, demonstrating how trusted service employees could exploit institutional relationships and procedural gaps to commit sophisticated crimes while maintaining perfect professional reputations until the moment they chose to disappear forever. Victor Ramirez had proven that sometimes the perfect crime requires nothing more than perfect service, infinite patience, and the willingness to betray every person who trusted you with their most valuable possessions. The trusted wheel had driven straight into criminal legend, leaving behind only empty deposit bags and the mystery of where $16.9 million disappeared along the dark roads of Nevada.